Hello and welcome to the No Balls Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick McDonald, with me co-host Sheldon Kaufman. Today we're going to be talking about the NBA playoffs because that is now upon us. Pretty much today is the last day of the regular season. We pushed this episode back a couple of days, so we could actually know the standings. And now we're here to talk about the NBA playoffs. First, we have trivia. And right before that, we have an update on the fantasy basketball season and punishment. Sheldon has lost. He lost in the first round. Rough, because
Got hold, bruh. Ain't no
yeah,
rough. I got hold.
yeah, he got the number one seed to get the tougher first round matchup. Is what ended up happening. Just unfortunate, but he is now the one who is obligated to do the G League tryout. So we'll probably be doing maybe posting an occasional progress episode here.
Yeah, the USF outdoor courts will be used a lot during the summer.
Yeah,
Yeah. Game plan, probably going to be going there, pass the ball a lot, try to not shoot as much as possible. And, hopefully they don't do too many, athletic tests where they, do measurements and stuff.
Let's hope they don't get the listed height. Let's hope they forget to do that.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm gonna be around some tall dudes for sure. But maybe maybe Michael Jordan's gonna be at the tryout or something to encourage us.
Yeah.
So
Maybe you'll they don't put the listed height and you can get away with saying you're 6'7". And
maybe
somebody
I
will
don't
take a
know.
shot.
Yeah.
What for the fans? Is there any team in mind that you're planning on trying out for?
I don't know. Probably whatever is pretty close to local. The Wizards, they already have a really nice G League team, so I'm not trying to compete with the best of the best. Maybe we'll do some research on some G League teams. It doesn't really matter. I think it'd be a miracle if I even score or do anything. We'll see. It should be very interesting for sure. But yeah, man, crazy. Did you end up losing to the guy?
I honestly I set my lineup for the first couple of days and then I was like, it really doesn't matter. So I don't know if I've for a live update. I am down 500 points. So looks like I'm not winning the championship, but oh well. Maybe we'll have
probably
to
wear a headband or something.
extra aura. We'll probably end up having maybe if Sheldon is in town, we might post a 1v1 episode
1v1
for the fans just to gauge our talent levels that we're working with here. Anyway, that'll do it for that. Trivia time, and it's time for me to look stupid now.
All right, Pat. I want to give you. You know what? We're going with it's definitely different. First genre of this trivia on the app. Who was the cover athlete for 2K15?
Let's see. I'm gonna try to flex my ball knowledge here. All right. 2K17 was Paul George. 2K18 was Kyrie Irving. 2K19 was Giannis. 2K20, I feel like it was Luka. I might be wrong on that one. There was a weird. I think 2K.
2K20 was maybe AD. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah,
So yeah,
2K20 was
2K20
AD.
was AD.
Yeah. So part of me thinks that there's one year where it was like a three-man cover, but 2K15 would have been at the 14-15 season, and that was after Durant's MVP season, and I know Durant was on a cover, so I think it was Kevin Durant.
Damn, the power of deduction by Patrick. Yeah, that's good. That was right. Yeah, they did the
Yeah.
3-man for 2K13. And then I think they
Yeah.
did it for 16 too.
Yeah, I feel like
Curry,
16 was
Harden.
in AD,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds right. And then there's a Devin Booker year recently. I don't even,
That was 23.
yeah, I don't know who's even on the current. Jason Tatum's on the current one, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. We've played actually a good bit this year. Not much recently, but uh, if you caught us during if
We
you
had
caught
some
us during
we had some good
November,
nights. We had some good nights. We had a
yeah, if you caught
couple
us during
burners.
November, we would get some
November.
wins. Not so much after Thanksgiving though. Anyway, I guess is that the only trivia question you had? All right. So where do we want to start with this playoff stuff? I guess we need you pulled up the scenarios. I'll let you read off the scenarios because
Okay,
that's
well,
important.
Pat, as you know, this West is insane. Uh insane. The first 6 seeds have been clinched in the East, but we cannot say the same for the West, Pat. Only 3 teams have or everybody's gotten a postseason clinch, but no one has secured their spot except for the Lakers, Rockets, and Thunder, the top 3 seeds in the West. So on Sunday, today, as we're recording this episode, it is a huge day, um, as multiple teams will end up in different seeds, and I think that seeding is huge in this Western Conference. Is I really do believe that. But so the Nuggets can clinch the 4 seed with a win against the Rockets. The Clippers can clinch a top 5 seed with a win against the Warriors. The Warriors clinch the 6 seed with a win against the Clippers. Those 2 teams play each other today. The Timberwolves clinch a top 6 seed if they beat the Jazz. The Kings clinch the 9 seed with a win against the Suns or a Mavericks loss. And the Mavs clinch the 9 seed with a win against the Grizzlies or a Kings loss. And let's see what else we got here. Okay, I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna share my screen with this graphic because this is a crazy graphic. I'll try to share my screen. There we go. All right, Pat, you can see. Can you see it? I think you're muted.
Yeah, I was saying before, like this is a lot to just rattle off, and I do see. So there's 4 games that are like that can actually change things, pretty much. And it's the
Yeah.
Dallas Memphis game, I think the Clippers Warriors one is like kind of the biggest one. And
Oh, for
then
sure. Yeah.
yeah. Um I think the team that has the most to gain honestly is kind of Minnesota. Because they have the head-to-head against the Clippers, so Minnesota could come all the way from, the play-in, and if they win their game and the Warriors win, like basically Minnesota just needs to win their game and they'll be a top 6 seed, and I think that's a huge thing for them.
And it's against the
Um,
Jazz.
yeah, and it's against the Jazz, so I think how it looks right now is Minnesota's most likely to be um, the 6 seed, and then the winner of the Warriors and the Clippers is going to be the 5 seed. Or Minnesota does hold. Well, if the Clippers win, then Minnesota will be a win behind them. So never mind on that part. So the Timberwolves are probably going to be the 5 seed. The Nuggets are the 6 seed, the Nuggets are either going to be the 4 or the 5 seed, and then the Clippers and the Warriors is going to be one of the other ones in the 4 or 5 spot. Lakers are clinched in their spot. Rockets and Thunder are clinched in their spot, and then the Grizzlies, they have head-to-head against Minnesota, but I don't think the Grizzlies can get any higher um, than the 7 seed.
Wow.
And I guess there is one more thing we do need to mention because we didn't talk about it because it happened right after I think we did our redraft episode. The Nuggets have fired their coach. So I guess let's talk about, in relation to the Grizzlies and Nuggets, how we feel about them rolling into the playoffs with an unexperienced head coach, pretty much.
Yeah, I think it hurts the Grizzlies a lot more than it hurts the Nuggets. This Nugget team has Jokic, one of the best players in the league. Very experienced. We've seen him take over huddles during timeouts and numerous clips online. And this Nugget team has been playing some pretty good ball recently. So I don't think I'm too worried about the Nuggets per se. But the Grizzlies, this is a team that we were talking about as a 2 seed for most of the season. Now you're saying that they can only get the 7. I mean, this West is loaded, but there still had to be some sort of drop off, obviously, in their play. They're 4-6 in their last 10. They're not heading in the best direction. They just, yeah, yeah. I don't know. This Grizzlies team just doesn't really. I'm not really too big on this Grizzlies team. I think the Nuggets. It was very surprising, but this is a Nuggets team that will be able to go. Won't really have a problem with this. I think just because of the players they have, like Aaron Gordon, vet, been in the league for a while. MPJ the same. Jamal Murray as well. So I don't think this team is going to be shaken up by it too much.
Yeah, I'm less worried about the Nuggets because more on the offensive side, I think it was a lot more player based and the players being able to dissect the game very well, and that's why they've made the deep playoff runs they have in the past years. And then on the defensive end of the floor, it was typically Mike Malone's scheme really, elevating them to at least be a passable unit there. And this year, they really haven't been that. I believe they're bottom 10 in defensive rating this year, or at least at the time of the firing they were, and they currently are. They're 22nd. With the Grizzlies though, and I made a video about the Grizzlies. It got copyright claimed, so it is not on
Pat,
YouTube.
they're after you.
I guess so. The video is not on YouTube. But I was talking about it, and I'm like, I really don't understand the Taylor Jenkins firing. And even with I understand a little bit of the Mike Malone firing. I still would have waited for the end of the year to fire him. But I think with the Grizzlies especially, like they look kind of lost since the firing, and they started doing more pick and rolls, and then the results of their offense was a lot worse, and none of it really makes much sense for me. And I think Memphis is by far the worst, like top 8 seed in the Western Conference. I don't really think it's very close. What do you think on that part?
The Grizzlies are a top 8 seed in the Western.
Are like the worst top 8 seed
Oh,
in
for
the
sure.
West.
Yeah. Because like obviously, like maybe the only team that could contend with them are the Timberwolves, but I think the Timberwolves have been playing really, really good basketball lately. So I'm not even gonna go as far to say that. So yeah, I think the Grizzlies are pretty easily the worst 8 seed.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Um, I guess how do we feel about potential playoff matchups? Like first round, OKC is either is more likely going to get Memphis. If not, it'll likely be the Clippers or the Warriors. Um, which is crazy to think. Um, how do we feel about that first round matchup for OKC?
The Thunder won't have any problem. if it's the Grizzlies, I think if it's the Warriors or Clippers, we see a six game series, 7 game series. I'm really high on this Clippers team going into the playoffs, so you'll probably hear a lot of that throughout this episode. But yeah, I think the Warriors have been playing really good as well, and I think they have an insane record when all of them play. Butler, Pods, Moody, and Curry, when they all play in starting lineup in a game together. Brandon Podziemski has been playing out of his mind recently too. I don't know if you watched the Lakers Warriors game, and then I think it was like Warriors Nuggets again.
Shots come back.
Literally, I mean, he was out there looking like Klay Thompson, damn near. So I mean that, along with the defensive level Draymond's playing at right now too, came out like I don't think DPOY was really on our radar for Draymond for a long time, and then this past month, it's like he's now the favorite. It's crazy. So he's playing out of his mind. Jimmy Butler's been playing really good since he's moved to Golden State. Yeah, it's going to be tough. And also with the Clippers, the pick and roll game over there is insane. The defense is locked down. Zubac is having a career year, really. I think 16 and 12. He had a triple double the other night and has been really playing well to really get the Clippers. I think they're 8-2 heading into the playoffs right now. So a lot of good basketball being played there. But yeah, Clippers Warriors is going to be a really good game today, for sure. But yeah, I think the Thunder won't have a problem if it's Memphis. I don't think the Thunder have a problem, not in the first round at least.
Yeah, I think we had one episode where Draymond Green was in the title or the thumbnail this year, and it was Draymond benched. Like the dude got benched earlier this season, and I don't know if he's the betting favorite, but like
No, I think he is.
he's gonna be a guaranteed to be a finalist for DPOI, and it's just crazy. I think the way to describe this Golden State team is like very pesky. Pesky. Um, like Jimmy Butler, everybody knows about Jimmy Butler, but Brandon Podziemski's like sneakily like shooting guard Jimmy Butler. You know what I mean? He's like Jimmy Butler if you put his attributes to the 3-point jump shot instead of getting to the rim like Jimmy Butler's is. And like they play small ball. Their best lineup is probably Curry, Pods, Moody, Butler, and Draymond. I think this is a really good Golden State team. None of my trade deadline picks or takes really aged well, besides the Quentin Grimes one. So yeah, Golden State's really good. I think it's for them. I think between them and the Clippers, who do you think is a bigger deal for them to end up in the top 6 versus being the 7th seed?
Like for the team, like would it be better for the team, or like because like this is how I think the Rockets will run into some problems if they have to face the Warriors or the Clippers at that 7th spot.
Keep going.
That's just what I think. I don't know. What teams? I mean, if you're the Lakers, you don't want to face the Warriors.
Yeah, I think they can, right? Or
how is it? Wait,
no, Minnesota and the Lakers is very probable. I'm pretty sure.
Minnesota and the Lakers? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Minnesota versus the Lakers. Unless Minnesota loses their game. So, for me though, with Golden State and the Clippers, I think Golden State has a lot more to lose by falling to the 7 seed.
Okay.
I think I like their chances a lot more as the 5 seed than as the 7 seed, which sounds obvious, but for the Clippers, I feel like their chances are rather unchanged. specifically against the Rockets. Like a lot of people are quick to throw this like young team label on the Rockets, but like their starting point guard's Fred VanVleet. Ime Udoka has coached NBA Finals teams. Nobody will question Alperen Sengun's decision making. Dylan Brooks has played on, real playoff teams before in his career, and like people will talk about their other players, but their two best players are guys who I wouldn't have too much questions about playing in the playoffs, and that's Fred VanVleet and Alfred Sengun, who, by the way, that's when their season really turned around because we were talking about them potentially falling out of the play-in last time we checked on the playoffs. Those are the two best players, to say the least. So I think how I see it is, whoa, I just completely lost what I was saying. Okay, if the Warriors were to fall there, I don't think I necessarily believe in the young team thing against Houston because Houston does give a lot of matchup difficulties for Golden State, and like Houston's doing this really weird thing where like 15, 20 minutes a game they're playing Steven Adams next to Alperen Sengun. And like it sounds ridiculous because they'll still have non-shooters out there, but it creates this matchup difficulty where you're like, well, do we put our center on Alperen Sengun, who they're going to give the ball to in the post a lot, and Sengun's going to move your weird forwards just out the way. He's just going to move them out the way. Or do you put your center on Steven Adams, who is literally just sitting in the dunker spot fighting for offensive rebound position? And the Rockets, I think, have been offensive rebounding like 35% of shots this season, which is just ridiculous. At least in the past like couple months. It's not something they do every minute of every game, but like there's going to be lineups where in that situation where it's like, well, shit, Jimmy Butler and Draymond is not big enough for this. I think even Draymond would get moved out the way by Steven Adams. Like I don't think he has a shot of, out muscling that guy. And Steven Adams as well played on a lot of really good playoff teams. And then just like the size of Houston, like Amen Thompson is huge. Tari Eason is very physical. They can go like these huge lineups with like Fred VanVleet, and then the next smallest guy is like Tari Eason. I do think Houston gives them a lot of difficulties, and I haven't even said anything about their defense, which I think is like it's really really good, and I think against Golden State, who like I think will have problems scoring when Steph Curry's not on the floor, just because there will be some clunky lineups. There's some depth concerns on my part still with Golden State. Like I feel pretty good about their top 5 guys, but like who's their best bench player?
Kevin Looney.
Like yeah, is like Kevon Looney or Quentin Post.
Yeah, probably Post.
I'm just a little bit concerned about how they're going to generate offense with Steph out there, especially against a Rockets defense. And then for the Clippers, I feel a little bit more strongly about them in that type of a matchup because they're also like a very good defensive team like Houston. And, if I'm stacking up their shot makers, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden are like ridiculous difficult shot makers.
Don't forget Powell can spark it too.
Yeah, and like Norman Powell is a pretty damn good difficult shot maker too, and I would take those guys making difficult plays over like Alperen Sengun and Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet, like pull up jump shots. Like I would definitely rather those things, and I think the Clippers have better counters for some of the strength that Houston's going to throw out them. So I think if the Clippers fall to the 7th seed and play the Rockets in the first round, the Clippers could win that series. I don't necessarily think Golden State would, but I do think it would be a very competitive series. Yeah, I mean, do you have anything to comment on that side of things?
That was great analysis. Yeah, I like everything you said, especially about the lack of depth. I think that's something that people might be looking over. Yeah. And the stuff about Houston, I think a lot of people are sleeping on Houston this year because of that
Yeah,
young team label. But like you said, they're so good because when you're running Steven Adams, who's one of the best offensive rebounders, he's been one of the best offensive rebounders in the league for a while. Couple that with Sengun, like you said, who are you going to put your big man on? Um,
I think the next thing that makes sense to go to is the Lakers against the Timberwolves, because that's the likely 3 versus 6 game or series. So yeah, I'll let you start. What do you think about what this series would look like?
all right. Um, I mean, like I said, the Timberwolves have been playing really good recently, and Rudy Gobert's been really stepping it up. I don't know if you saw him against the Jazz. He had 35, and he was really controlling the game defensively. Randall was playing good too. Uh, Ant has been playing out of his mind. I don't know if you saw the Rockets Timberwolves game. That game was literally, I think it was last Tuesday or April 1st or something like that.
I think I remember it. Yeah,
Really good game. 140 to 139, two overtimes. Uh, People were
yeah,
making shots. Mike Conley made a big three after not doing anything all game. J.D. McDaniel stepped up. Ant put on a show. Ant is really good. I mean, he's just so good. Um, but then you do have the Lakers. You have Luca, Anthony,
Austin Reeves.
Austin, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, uh, and one of the better head coaches in the league, one of the better new head coaches in the league, and JJ Redick. He has this team playing really well. Luka just had 45 against the Mavs. Austin Reeves has been playing like a really, really good third option for this team. Um, yeah, I this is gonna be a fun series. Because I seriously can see the Warrior or the Timberwolves winning. I think this is gonna be a series that goes down to like 6 games. Um, I don't know. It's
Okay,
hard. I think I'm gonna take. I think the Lakers. I think the. I think the Lakers maybe like edge it out. I think they end up winning the series. Yeah, I think they end up winning the series, and I think a lack of offense ends up hurting the Timberwolves.
quick sidebar, and then I'll say my comments on the series. If we had to rank the top 8 teams, or I guess the top 7, because we both agreed that Memphis is probably a little bit closer to Dallas and Sacramento. If you had to rank these top 7 teams in order, like, how would you do it?
OKC,
Yeah.
Rockets,
Okay.
or no, OKC, Nuggets, Rockets, Lakers, Clippers. I'm gonna give. Warriors, Timberwolves, but those two are switchable. I don't know. They're close. I'll give. Yeah, I'll go Warriors.
Okay.
Warriors,
I
Timberwolves.
was how I see it. It's I feel very strongly about OKC at 1. I'm sure you do as well. Um, After that, I think I lean the Lakers. Um, as much as I don't like the Houston narratives, I do think that they hold a little bit true against the Lakers. Um, if they were to face up in a second round matchup, I think it would be a really tough series for the Rockets, just because the Lakers have so much like Luca kind of neutralizes a lot of great defense, and LeBron James still somehow was able to create efficient offense despite me releasing a video that he couldn't, because he couldn't midway through the year. Um, I think I would side with the Lakers and then the Rockets, and then after that, I feel like I would go with the Clippers and Warriors and Nuggets, and then I think Minnesota would be kind of comfortably behind those teams for me. And maybe this is over indexing on one game, but did you watch Bucks against the Timberwolves game.
Oh, when they came back, the
Y-
33-point run by Giannis and them.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like if it was just the game happened and they lost, I really wouldn't be over indexing on it. I wouldn't be holding like and too much stock into it, but like midway through the fourth quarter, the Bucks literally just not even midway through, like at the 10-minute mark, Giannis checked in. The Bucks start playing a zone against Minnesota, and they just don't have the shooting to take advantage of it or the playmaking ability. Because if you look at their normal lineups out there, like Mike Conley's a decent passer, but he can't create advantages, and teams know that, so they don't ever like send aggressive help to Mike Conley because oh
Why
well,
would
like
you?
yeah, like Kevin Porter Jr. is just gonna catch up to him. Like we're not gonna send help. Um, Gobert, you got some vertical stress at the rim, but his hands aren't necessarily that great. And then in the playoffs, I'm sure teams will ignore Jaden McDaniels and Julius Randle. Anthony Edwards has to do a lot of heavy lifting there, and I just don't. As much as I do like the steps he's taken forward this year, because he's taken considerable steps forward to actually be how people were talking about him last year. Um, his passing is still like just a tick behind for me, even though I do think the shootings come around. I think some of their better lineups are like with a weird assortment of their bench players. Like, is their best lineup like Edwards, DiVincenzo, Alexander Walker, Reed, and Gobert? Like, I legitimately think it could be that way. I just really am concerned about how this team is going to be offensively in the playoffs. Even though their offensive rating I don't think is any bad. I think it's around top 10. If not, it is top 10. Um, I don't really have any question marks on their defense. It's just I do think out of all of these West teams, besides maybe Houston, they have the worst offense. Um, and I think there's going to be enough stuff for the Lakers to take advantage of in a playoff matchup. Like you said, JJ Redick, great head coach, and nobody knows the game better than LeBron James. I think they're going to have enough answers. The Lakers are. So I feel pretty confident if this is the first round matchup that the Lakers will move on. I guess we're just here. Should we make our West predictions to get to the second round?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Or should we
No, no,
should we
let's do
talk
it.
about the 9 and 10 seeds? Do we think
No,
either
no,
of them have a chance to make it into the 8th seed? I think there's a chance, but I don't think it matters because I think regardless who is the
who
8th
do you
seed,
think your chances on the Mavs, or do you like the
I
Kings?
yeah, I like the Mavs. I like the
Yeah, just
Mavs.
because of AD, I think.
And like their roster's like kind of good. It's like one Luka Doncic away from
From a
being
championship
a
contender.
contender. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um if I think the real question is if Minnesota falls to the 8th seed in the play-in, like that's the only difference I think the play-in could make.
Oh
Or
yeah.
like if like uh the Warriors or the Clippers fall to the 8th seed, I think that could make a difference. But otherwise, I feel like whoever gets the 8th seed will just lose in the first round. So uh, I do kind of like the Mavs, but even if they make the 8th seed, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, me
Okay,
too.
OKC winning easily.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either gonna be Clippers or Warriors against Rockets. I guess let's pick in both series. Clippers versus Rockets. What do you have?
I mean, I got the Clippers, and then I got the Rockets. I got Clippers beating Rockets. I got Rockets beating Warriors.
That's what I would have as well. I think the Clippers are a worse team than Houston, but I think they match up rather well compared to a lot of the other West teams. Um, and I think the big argument for the Rockets to make a potential deep run is like they match up pretty good against Golden State, obviously, who could be a first round matchup, but they match up pretty well against OKC. So if they can get to the finals, I think it'll be a tough series for OKC. But yeah, I say Clippers beat the Rockets, and the Rockets beat the Golden State Warriors. We just said Lakers over Timberwolves, correct?
Yeah. I don't think
And I guess
I just can't see LeBron and Luka going out in the first round.
I don't think I could either. And I guess we need to talk about the last series because it's going to be either the Warriors or the Clippers again against the Nuggets. We didn't really talk about the series. How do you feel about this series?
Nuggets, Warriors.
Yeah, let's do that one first.
Okay. Wow. That's actually that's a very interesting one. I'm gonna go with my Nuggets. My Jokic MVP Nuggets. I think they beat the Warriors for sure. And then you said Nuggets Clippers.
Yeah, is another potential first rounder.
That's hard. You got Zoo versus Jokic. Not a bad center matchup. I gotta go with the Nuggets though. Yeah, I gotta go with the Nuggets, but I could see that being one of those like 7-game series.
So I think if the Warriors and the Nuggets match up, I like, or let me say the Clippers and the Nuggets match up. I think I like the Nuggets' chances there because
Yeah, me too.
I feel like their offense is good enough to get past what the Clippers do on defense, and then the Clippers' offense isn't a great offense. A lot of it is based around switch hunting, and I think that the Nuggets can do a good enough job to limit a switch hunting isolation offense. But if you match them up against Golden State, I just feel like a team with an interim head coach is going to be very unorganized. Um, and I feel like if you're unorganized against Golden State, like Curry's gonna pop you for 40 a game. Like I'm really scared about that. And on the defensive side of the floor, the Warriors aren't like they're gonna play small still. I'm very confident of it. Draymond or I would assume Jimmy probably would guard Jokic, and then the Warriors don't care that he's smaller because they're just gonna send a double anyway. And they're gonna make you beat you with shooting. And I think I would pick the Warriors against the Nuggets. I'm not saying it super
Ooh,
strongly, but I
ooh.
think the Clippers would lose to the Nuggets in a series. So I've picked with those two teams facing two different opponents. I picked one of them to win and one of them to lose both times. So that tells you all you really need to know about these West playoffs. Like they're gonna be great. What series are you gonna be tuning into the most?
Um, I think the Lakers or whoever the Rockets play, Rockets versus um Warriors or Clippers, I would tune into that for sure. I would tune into Nuggets and Lakers Timberwolves. I think I would definitely tune into for sure. Anytime Ant's playing, I'm gonna tune in. Um, so because I think the Timberwolves are sneaky this year because they had such a bad start. I'm like sneaky as in they'll give us some good matchups, but I don't think they can
Y-
really, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Um,
If if they weren't getting the Lakers, I think I could like them against some of the other teams, but like I think if Minnesota got Houston in the first round, that might be like pretty good for them because Gobert and like Randall's a big strong dude, and like the offense is going to be ugly all series for both teams, but I think Houston might really struggle with how big those lineups are. Even if Minnesota might not hit a shot all game. Um, Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna tune into basically every series here. Whoever plays after the Knicks,
yeah,
100% gonna watch. I just hope it's not OKC beating whatever 8 seed team they get to play. Uh, sorry for Grizzlies fans. I don't know what the hell is going on there. I don't know. This could be so great. Looking at this West, who do you think is the favorite to come out of the West?
I mean, the Thunder are the favorite to come out of the West for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thunder. I think Thunder, Nuggets, Lakers could all come out of this. Dark Horse, Clippers. That's all I can see
Yeah.
though.
With me, if Denver makes it out the first round, I feel pretty good about them because if they I feel like the first round is definitely going to be a relative tough matchup, like rather than like OKC's obviously gonna be a hard matchup for everybody, but like I said, like I don't think Golden State would be like a terrible matchup for Houston. I think they could give Denver some troubles. So if they pull Clippers in the first round, I think I picked Denver in that series, and from that point on, the next round they're playing OKC, and you know if they're gonna make the finals, like they gotta be OKC in the second round, and then after that you get Lakers or Rockets in the Western Conference Finals. We know how Lakers fans hate playing the Nuggets and how Jamal Murray turns into not Jamal Murray against the Lakers in the playoffs. And then I do think that the youth thing could play a little bit against like Nikola Jokic. So hey, if they're gonna be OKC in the second round, like I do really think uh Denver could make some noise. So whew, I agree. And with them too, they have a crazy home court advantage. Playing at the altitude really messes with some people. They might only have it for 3 games a series though if they fall to the 5 seed. Uh,
Hey, it's gonna be
yeah.
hard to play it into it too. The Clippers.
Oh, into it is crazy because the opposing team free throw percentage is like 72% there.
Yeah. So what is Shai gonna do when he has to play? What is Shea gonna do when he has to play? And
The Clippers are intentionally going to send Shea to the line.
Shea's gonna turn into Ben Simmons again.
Okay, you got anything else on this West before we gotta run through the East? Okay, let's get it out the way. The play-in teams in the East: Orlando, Atlanta, uh,
Orlando
Miami,
Magic. Orlando Magic.
and Chicago. Do we think anything of any of these teams?
Uh, do we think anything of these teams? No. The Magic are always interesting, I think, but they're not going to beat the Cavs, Celtics. Yeah, they're not going to beat the Cavs and the Celtics. None of these teams can beat the Cavs or the Celtics. I'm sorry. Like this East is too top heavy. Yeah, I don't think any of these teams get out of the first round. Um, but hey, that Magic Hawks playing could that Bulls Heat playing game. Whoo, you better
The
tune
annual
in.
Bulls Heat
You
playing game.
you better tune in the annual playing game. Um, yeah, should be fun. Should be fun.
Yeah, I think this same group of 3 teams with the Heat, Bulls, and Hawks just always play in the play-in. Um, I think Orlando, I'm hoping fall to the or stay at the 7 seed because I think they could at least make it not a easy series on Boston, and then hopefully that'll easing them up for the second round for the Knicks. I'm just please, um, I need anything here, um, but no, I don't think any of them can really even come close to winning a playoff series against the Cavs or Celtics. Yeah, you want to pick a series because all of the series are locked up by now. So any one of them that you want to talk about, you're muted.
Yeah, let's start Knicks Pistons, Pat. I think this is a really interesting one. How confident are you going into the series? Do you think it's gonna be because I can see this being a really. I mean, Jalen Duran, he's been playing some really good basketball along with Kate Cunningham, and then that their stars. Amen Thompson has been playing really, or Sar Thompson, sorry, or yeah, Sar
Yep.
Thompson has been playing really good recently, defensively and offensively. He's been improving from last year. Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley are knocked down, um, but the Knicks figured out. I think OG and McHale really like came back to themselves with Jalen Brunson out. They picked it up a little bit, and now that Jalen Brunson's back, how confident are you going into this series?
Um, I would call it confident that we're going to win. Um, I don't think it's going to necessarily be an easy series by any means. Uh, the Pistons I think are a pretty rough offense. Like they get by in the regular season, but like when Cade Cunningham's not on the floor, like it's I think it'll get really ugly. Because outside of that, like, are you running Tobias Harris, Dennis Schroeder offense? Like, it's not terrible. They're gonna be decent defensively. Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duran, shout out to them. They've been protecting the rim way better than they did a year ago. Um, so they're no longer on the hot seat. It's just I think things are gonna be really tough on Cade in this first round. Like he's gonna get the OG and an Obi matchup, and for context, like the Knicks were a pretty terrible defense for the first little bit of the year, and then since Mitchell Robinson's come back, they've been really like pretty decent defensively, like about as good as the Pistons have been. And Anunoby's been moved to basically just be on ball the whole time since Mitchell Robinson's come back, because he doesn't have to do as much help stuff anymore. So I think that's really tough for them. And Cade already kind of has issues creating a ton of efficient shots. He's really good at making shots, but he can't always get all the way to the rim. He gets blocked a ton. Uh, and I'm the resident Kate Cunningham stan. So I think it'll be uh, a tougher series. I think the only way the Pistons really sneak some games is if like there's a Malik Beasley burner or a Tim Hardaway Jr. burner game where they shoot 7 for 9 from three. If those things don't happen, I think the Knicks win every game. Even if Cade has decent games, I don't think it's gonna be easy for him to have high scoring numbers. So shout out to Detroit. They're very good, but I don't think they're good enough just yet. You got anything else on that?
No, I'm with you. I think there's definitely gonna be a game or two where Malik Beasley or Tim Hardaway Jr. one of them pops off for 33 off 10 made threes, 11 made threes. Uh, but yeah, I think Kate Cunningham's gonna play good though. I think he'll have a bunch of double doubles, the assists and points. Um, but yeah, I just think that this next team is too good. So should we go on to a next series? Maybe Indiana Bucks, because this one's interesting. Because like obviously, what happened to Dame really hurt the Bucks, but Giannis was playing out of his mind. Like if Jokic and Shea weren't in it, like yeah, I feel like Giannis is really having an underrated season just because of what Jokic and Shea are doing. I just don't hear a lot about Giannis, but he's been carrying this Bucks team recently. They're on a 7 game win streak, 7-3 in their last 10, uh, and they're a little bit outside the top 10 in both offensive defensive rating, 12th in each. Gary Trent has stepped up in the absence of Damian Lillard. Do you think that Giannis is enough to power past the Pacers? I know you're a big Pacers guy. So what are you feeling?
I'm gonna have to say no. Um, Kevin Porter Jr. has been playing pretty good for them. And I don't want to
Yeah.
say this as an indictment on him as a player, but like he literally got not cut, but he got traded for like somebody like kind of crazy this offseason or this trade deadline. Um,
I feel like that was just a bad trade.
yeah, it was a bad trade on the Clippers' part, but like like it goes to say that like their second creator right now is a guy who got traded. I don't even know who the player was that the Clippers traded KPJ for. Um, I don't think Milwaukee's gonna really be good offensively. Year to year, their offense typically ticks down a lot in the playoffs. Um, I think without Dame out there, like it could get kind of ugly even. Like this is a really subpar supporting cast. Kuzma hasn't necessarily been very good. Um, and then defensively, I think that there's a lot of exploits Indiana can run at them with Brook Lopez and drop coverage, just spreading out the floor. Um, Tyrese Halliburton is, I say he's very underrated just because he's not a high volume scorer when in reality he's probably a better player than Cade Cunningham. Um, I think they'll be really good, and I think defensively Indiana's gonna like give them enough trouble. Like if they're probably gonna make Gary Trent shoot 10 3-pointers a game. Like they're gonna say, hey, just if you make 4 of them, good luck, good for you. But we're gonna make you shoot 10 of them, and they're gonna do the same thing with probably KPJ. They won't do it with AJ Green because that dude's a ridiculous shooter. But you know anybody who they think they can test on Milwaukee to make a ton of shots, they're gonna do that to get help on Giannis. And Milwaukee's not a good defensive team anymore. They haven't been since they lost the point of attack defender. Like I think Indiana's gonna win it pretty convincingly. If Dame was here, I think it's a much different, debate. But like, I think Giannis has to average like 35 for them to have a chance. Um, what else do you have a different point of view here?
Not, not really. I mean, I was thinking about it. I was like maybe Giannis could like really do this, but I just don't think the supporting cast around him is enough. Especially when the Pacers have guys really good. Like they're a really good defensive team as well. Uh, like they have Siakam, they have Andrew Nimhart, who we've talked about a lot on this podcast. Miles Turner, who's a pretty good defender down in that paint. And a lot of other guys coming off the bench. They're a very deep team, and this Bucks team is forced to be stretched pretty thin. So I think it's unfortunate. I think Giannis is going to go out there and just ball out in his last season in Milwaukee. I think he'll be gone next year. So yeah, should be very interesting. But yeah, he'll go out with a bang for sure. We'll see a lot of really good stat lines from Giannis, but ultimately an L next to the record.
Yeah, I think pretty certainly that this is going to be a Milwaukee first round loss for the third year in a row, unfortunately. Um, rough, very rough. Giannis, like you said, Giannis is probably going to be out after this year. I think I'll evaluate um, once we've come to the end. Real quick, you see this dude on the screen? look, look at his tan line around his eyes.
Yo, he's wild. What screen am I even sharing?
We've had the CBS
I've
Sports playoff
Yeah, I
opportunities
know. It's
up
just
the
been
whole
really
time, and I'm
deep.
like,
It's
what,
like,
it is
oh yeah,
something
here
else
he
to look
is.
at. I mean, not too much hate on him. Like, congrats, you're making money.
Yeah, he's doing his
But
thing with the Masters. Oh, I just opened a Facebook account. All right, where?
every we think Giannis maybe he leaves Milwaukee. Yeah, we'll see after the season how ugly things get. Um, I guess in the East, I mean, in these two series, which one do you feel more confident in winning, like Detroit or Milwaukee?
Who would I feel more confident that end up like actually winning?
Yeah, actually winning the series, Detroit or Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Okay. I think both of them are just not. I've held the opinion for a while that Milwaukee's just not a very good team. I think Detroit's okay. I think Detroit might have a better chance just because, like, hey, there could be like multiple games where their shooters catch fire. I really don't think either of them have a high percentage. Like, I would maybe sit with like Detroit at like 15% and Milwaukee at like 10%. Uh, so we're pretty confident the second round is going to be Indiana Cavs and Boston Knicks. Do we want to talk about those series while we're here, I guess?
What? Boston, New York?
Versus Knicks. Yeah, because we don't think any of the play-in teams really have a chance.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm concerned about the Knicks haven't beat the Celtics, Cavs,
They haven't.
none of those boys. You can't do that. How are you going to beat them 4 times in a 7 game span? I, I'm a little worried. I am a little worried, Pat. Hate to say it. I do
Yeah,
think that I do think the Knicks can steal 2 games. So
my
I think
yeah,
they could force a game 6, but I don't see them.
my one call for hope, I guess, is the only game that they played against any of those teams that they were actually healthy for was the overtime game against Boston. Um, and I think there's some adjustments that can be made off of that game to win a game or two. And like if Porzingis doesn't hit 2 logo jump shots, like the Knicks win that game. But I don't think that, barring like Jaylen Brown not playing the entire series, or like even if Jaylen Brown doesn't play, like I think it's really like if Jason Tatum gets hurt or if like Derek White gets hurt, I think the Knicks have a chance, like a pretty good chance. But yeah, if Tatum and Derek White are healthy, who I think are probably their 2 best players, um, maybe that's a hot take. Hey, I think if those guys are healthy, um, I don't think the Knicks will probably win unless like there's a Dallas Mavericks versus OKC Thunder like level shooting luck in favor of the Knicks. But this season, I think the Knicks have the lowest against 3-point percentage, uh,
Dang.
and Boston's the 3-point shooting team. I don't see it right now. They have 7 good NBA players. I think Boston has like 9. Um, and I think the flaws of Boston's players aren't as pronounced as Karl Anthony Towns' shit defense. Yeah, I think Boston wins pretty handedly. Indiana Cavs, how do you think this series goes?
That one would be very good. I'm still sticking with my Cavs, but I think that's a 7 game series for sure. Um,
I
yeah, that'll be a fun one. That's gonna be a really fun game. That one I can also see the Pacers winning though.
I was gonna say, like, between the Knicks and the Pacers, I feel more confident about the Pacers making this making it past the second round. Some of it because of the like I don't necessarily know if they're a better team than the Knicks, but I do think they match up better against Cleveland and Boston than the Knicks do. Um, I think, if those teams are exported to the West, like I might feel differently about them, but they're in the East. I think Indiana, like they could present some difficulties to Cleveland. Um, yeah, as I'm saying them, there's a lot less, but like Benedict Mathurin, I think is like Benedict Mathurin and Siakam are pretty good at like just kind of creating something, at least when shit hits the bed. Like Mathurin gets to the line a ton, and Siakam's a pretty good, mid-range scorer, and can, he provides that changeup for them. I've always referred to Siakam as Indiana's changeup. Um, I think they can do enough of that, like floor raising in a playoff offense to at least make it interesting, because I do like Indiana's defense. when it comes playoff time, since they're fully healthy right now. And when Aaron Nesmith and Andrew Nemhard share the floor, they have like a 110 defensive rating, which would be around top 5 right now in the league. I still think it's a long shot, but I do think Indiana could win a series, but probably not. And then since we think that the East is pretty like not set in stone, but like there's not many ways it can go. We've gone through these 2 rounds in 20 minutes. Do you want to just talk about what we think the final conference finals would be?
Yeah, I mean, it would be the Cavs Celtics would be very good. I mean, it would be
Very good.
like probably a series that we'll look back on like very nostalgically in the future. I got the Cavs though. I'm gonna stick with the Cavs to come out of the East. I think I just I like the Cavs to come out of the East.
I don't know if I can make a pick on this series until we see the playoffs. I think
That
I
is
thought
true.
about it
It's
because
hard. It's hard.
like a lot of my quails about the Celtics coming into the year, because I said I thought they would be like the 3rd seed and still win like 50 games this year, were because I thought like the center play was going to falter, but like Al Horford has not faltered with age, and when Porzingis has been out the lineup, Luke Cornett does like an all-time great Kristaps Porzingis impersonation. So I really don't know how much it matters if Porzingis misses a game or 2 against the Cavs. I think he makes them better potentially, but like if you look at the lineup data this year, like they've been a little bit better with Cornett and Horford than Porzingis. Porzingis obviously is very good. So I don't know. And then if Brown isn't playing, it hurts Boston, but they just they'll plug somebody in and it won't matter. They'll probably go double big, and that might help them against Cleveland in a series where they're gonna need 2 bigs to deal with Cleveland's 2 bigs. I'm not sure. I think they are still better if Brown plays, but there's gonna be a lot of lineups where I think Boston could give them some good counters. And then like I'm still not 100% convinced that the fit is perfect in Cleveland. I think at the end of games they're really going to need some type of defensive substitution for Mitchell or Garland, especially in a Boston series where like I'm not so concerned about like Drew Holiday scoring on guys, but like I feel like if you just put Mitchell and Holiday on White and Mitchell and Garland on White and Holiday, like I feel like those guys are kind of gonna get a ton of offensive rebounds because that's like a really good part of their games. Or even if it's Pritchard out there, like Pritchard's a great ball handler and like actually an elite offensive rebounder at 6'2". So maybe I'm overthinking and Cleveland is the best team. I think I would slightly lean Boston after talking myself through it, but Cleveland I do think is legit. I just think if there can't be 4 teams that make the NBA Finals. There are going to be 2.
Yeah.
And I think in the league right now, I think that the top 3 teams are pretty solidified for me with Boston, OKC, and Cleveland. You got anything else? Just in general for today? Who's at the start of the playoffs, who's the finals pick right now?
I'm not gonna be crazy, bro. I'll go Cavs. Nah, you know what? I'm gonna go Cavs. Cavs Nuggets. I'm gonna go Cavs
Okay.
Nuggets. Cavs Nuggets or I think the team I really want to make it is the Clippers. So like my dark horse is Cavs Clippers, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Or not Cavs, yeah, Cavs Clippers, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But yeah, I think either Cavs Nuggets. I'm gonna go Cavs Nuggets. I think the Nuggets can beat the Lakers if they end up crossing paths. I think the Nuggets could maybe beat the Thunder in a 7-game series.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have to.
So,
Um,
well, obviously, yeah.
yeah,
But I just think that they can I think they can do enough to get it done.
yeah.
But yeah, why not? I'll take the Nuggets.
It's not ever a dumb decision to bet against Nikola or to bet for Nikola Jokic. Um, I think my pick is I think it's Thunder over Celtics. I feel like I just I think Cleveland and Boston is gonna probably be the toughest series throughout the playoffs that any of those three teams gets. Um, and I just kind of think I think it's OKC for me. OKC over Boston. It'll be a great series, just like I think the Eastern Conference Finals will, and basically all of the West playoffs. Um, going to be staying up late um, these next couple of weeks, right as finals approach. Uh,
Good Pat.
that should basically do it for this episode, coming out a couple days later than normal. But hey, we wanted to know the playoff settings, and yeah, we narrowed it down to 2 undetermined spots. Please, Minnesota actually beat the Jazz, so picking you as the
Imagine the
6th seed
Nuggets
was
are the
right.
7 seed.
Is that possible?
Yeah, I think so.
No.
Yeah,
No, they can
Denver.
only drop to the 5 seed. Oh wait,
No. See, they can drop to 6 or 7. It's really blurry right now for some reason, but
yeah, wait.
just
I was looking at that one.
7
That was updated
Minnesota.
April 11th.
Huh?
So there's been a couple games since then.
Oh,
It
this is
says
April
updated
12th.
April 11th.
This is April 12th.
No, it says right there in the red box. It
Look at the
says
tweet. The tweet.
yeah, but in the red box it says it was updated April 11th.
Okay.
Because everything's so confusing. I have no idea at this point. PJ Tucker is starting today for the Knicks.
No, let's go. Hey, I saw him getting a little chippy with Schroeder. He's the enforcer, I guess.
He is the enforcer. He got a guaranteed, not a guaranteed, but he has a team option for next year. Shout out PJ Tucker.
W man.
Yeah, next week's episode, I don't know what we're gonna be doing. Maybe we'll talk about, maybe we'll recap the playing games, if those are good.
Yeah, I think for sure.
So, redrafts on the back burner for now.
Playoffs
But
are
we will be.
full action, so we gotta be covering it all.
Oh yeah, we gotta be covering it all. Shout out to the NBA. They've not necessarily blocked, but they've stopped the NBA film room episode from coming out. So I don't know. I was wanting to do a couple more before the playoffs, but not looking like the case right now. But yeah, we will see you guys in a week. Not even a week. We'll see you guys on Saturday. Y'all should be seeing this maybe a day or two late. I don't know. It'll be Sunday or Monday. But yeah, we'll see you guys next Saturday.